Good morning, students. Let's continue with the mitochondria. In the previous video we have seen about the mitochondrial structure. Now we are going to see about how the ATP synthesis is going to take place. Because of the presence of ATP or the synthesis of ATP, the mitochondria is called as the powerhouse of the cell. Now coming towards how the function is going to take place and which particular part is going to function there. In our previous video we have seen about where the crystals are present and the oxysomes are present. Now we are going to see about how it's going to function. So let's start now. This is the structure what I am showing here about the crystal. So we have the two layers, the outer membrane and the inner membrane. This you are going to call it as outer membrane and this you are going to call it as the inner membrane. So in inner to this you can observe we have the presence of the matrix also. This part you are going to call it as the matrix. And this you are going to call it as what? Crista, the inner folding. In between these two, the outer membrane and the inner membrane, we have the presence of the the mitochondrial space, which you are going to call it as the outer compartment. Which you are going to call it as the outer compartment. Now coming towards the actual part, what we are going to see here. This inner region you are going to call it as M phase. M phase because it has been considered as the matrix. And the inner membrane of the outer layer, this is the inner layer and this is the outer layer. The outer layer you are going to call it as the cytosol or the C phase. Clear? Now on the crista, in the previous the diagram, that is on the structure, when we saw about the structure of the mitochondria, we have seen about the presence of oxysomes. Where are the oxysomes present? It is present on the crista. The oxysomes usually has three parts. One you are going to call it as the basal part. The another one, it has a small the protein structure, and the larger one which is called as the head. So this is called as oxysome. So one oxysome consists of a base, it consists of a protein and a head part. The base part is the one which you are going to call it as F0 particle. The head region is the one which you are going to call it as F1 particle. And this head region itself, it is going to act as ATPase. So the type of an enzyme, ASE means refers for enzyme. So the enzyme, the type it is been present as ATP synthetase is the enzyme which is going to help for the synthesis of ATP molecule. So this is the oxysome. And you can observe here the oxysomes are present. The base region is present in between these two layers, that is the M phase layer and the cytosol phase. This is with your protein and this is with your the F1 particle. So this is how the oxysomes are present. The oxysomes are present. Now coming towards how it is going to function. So in between these two layers, they have the presence of more of the proteins are present. When we saw about the structure, we told that the outer layer has less protein and the inner layer has more protein. And these proteins are the one which is going to have high energy, and it is going to act as the electron transport chain. These proteins are the one which is going to act as the electron transport chains, and this electron transport chains is going to release certain protons. It is going to pump certain protons towards this outer compartment region, and this protons are the one which is going to considered with high energy levels, and this high energy levels are the one which is going to go outside when through certain particles. What are those elementary particles? That is the oxysomes. Only through these oxysomes it can go outside. It cannot go outside through any other region. So what is going to happen here? When you're going to consider one pair of a proton, this proton with high energy, it is going to enter towards this oxysome. That is, first part you're going to call it as the base. The middle part you can also call it as a stalk, and the innermost part which is called as the head region. So this head region, now they consist of the synthetase or with the enzyme. So this enzyme, what it is going to do now? So this enzyme is going to utilize the presence of the inorganic phosphate along with the ADP molecule. It is going to give away the presence of ATP. Synthesis is going to take place. So with the help of the protons pumping with a high energy, the oxysomes, the enzymes is going to utilize the inorganic phosphate along with the ADP molecule to form ATP. So for one proton molecule, one ATP is going to be synthesized. For one proton molecule, one ATP molecule is going to be synthesized. And how many numbers of oxysomes are present? The oxysomes can be as number of 10,000 to 1 lakh per mitochondria. So because of that, so more number of energy is going to be produced. So as the energy is being produced means you're going to call it as, it's going to give power for that particular cell. So it is called as the powerhouse of the cell. So this is the characteristic function. Coming towards the other functions of mitochondria, it is being used in ATP synthesis. Then it is also used for in the formation of the Nebenkern. Nebenkern is nothing but the mitochondrial structure present in these sperms. So in this sperm they have three regions: the head region, middle piece and the tail region. So in the middle piece of the sperm there is a presence of mitochondria, and that is called as Nebenkern, and that helps for to giving energy. To whom it's going to give? It is going to give energy for the tail region for motility. For motility. Another characteristic features of that, it helps in thermogenesis, that is the production of heat. That is another characteristic features. In cytoplasmic inheritance. So as such, with the inheritance means where the transformation of the genes is going to take place from the nuclear region towards the offsprings, that is from the parents towards the offsprings. So in cytoplasmic inheritance, in the cytoplasm region, there is the presence of mitochondria. Mitochondria consists of what? The circular DNA. The circular DNA has its own DNA materials or the genetic materials. So this is also going to help in the transformation of the characters from the mother towards the offspring. So for example, you are going to consider this is as the egg and this is the sperm. The sperms do not have the cytoplasm, but the egg has the cytoplasm. So when there is a formation of the offspring or a zygote, the mitochondria is going to be received from the egg region, that is the cytoplasm. So the cytoplasm will be present in the egg region and that is going to transfer the mitochondria towards the offspring. So you are going to call it as the cytoplasmic inheritance. It is also used in or functions of vitellogenesis. Vitellogenesis refers for the synthesis of yolk. So again, yolk synthesis means it is being used as a reserve food material. Where it is being used? It is being used again in the region of egg itself. We'll add on one more character here itself. That's about the synthesis of heme part. Heme part, in a sense, you're going to consider the presence of hemoglobin. So hemoglobin, they consist of two parts, heme and globulin. Globulin, you're going to call it as a protein part, and heme is the presence of the iron content. So there also it is going to help for the synthesis, the mitochondria. So this is the major characteristic features, the ultrastructure, the functioning, how it is going to take place, the ATP synthesis, and also the functions of mitochondria. So this completes with the video of the mitochondria. We are going to do in the next video, that's about the centrosomes. Thank you.